Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the GolfMagic YouTube channel. Now today, I'm following on from a few reviews and comparisons I did last week with the TaylorMade P790. I compared it to the 2019 iteration, also did a review of it, but now I'm comparing it to one of the softest feeling irons in golf. I've got the Mizuno JPX 921 Hot Metal Pro, a direct competitor to the 2019 TaylorMade P790, and today I'm just going to hit it on the range and see which one could be right for your game. I've already actually compared the JPX 921 Hot Metal Pro to the 2019 version of the P790s. That was a very interesting test, so be sure to go check that out just about here, because that was a lot of fun for me and I got a lot of data for it as well. Today, I'm at the driving range at Mannings Heath and I'm going to test out these two 7-irons. First up, let's just talk design, because there is some significant differences. The redesign that TaylorMade have done to this brand new P790, it makes it look a lot more like the P770s and P7MCs. It doesn't actually look like there's a lot of forgiveness when just looking at the face of the club, because they have muted that sole of the club, made it look a little bit thinner. But when you actually look at it down at address, you can see that the top line and offset is a little bit larger. And when I look at it in comparison to the JPX 921, just at address, they look very similar, with the JPX 921 Hot Metal Pro being just slightly larger. You can see that the design of the JPX 921, it still is very nice, but I would say it's a little more commercialized than the TaylorMade. It's a little bit louder, and although it doesn't really go to its counterparts of, let's say, Callaway and Cobra, which are very commercialized, this one is a little bit, I mean, to put it very simply, it's a little bit shiny, has a lot more going on, and that's not a negative, but I would say it's probably just aimed towards that higher handicap player in comparison to the P790. And when you look into the specs of it, with the 7-iron of this being 29 degrees and the TaylorMade being 30.5, a whole degree and a half stronger, that means it's probably suited towards someone who's a little bit more forgiveness, a little bit more distance out of their swing. So from first evaluation, I would say that the JPX 921 is towards the higher handicap player, whereas the P790 is a little bit more of a broader spectrum. But let's now hit it on the range here, hit a few swings with both of these 7-irons and just see how I get on. Wow. Wow. Right, this club goes a long way. I have reviewed this before, compared it before, and that was actually in a launch monitor at the Swing Suite at Cromhurst Golf Club. And I found that it feels very hot off the face, but with the hot off the face, it also has that very soft feel as well, which is why I'm such a big fan of Mizuno irons. And that Hot Metal line, Hot Metal Pro and Hot Metal, they really do tick both boxes here, because you've got exceptional forgiveness, but you've also got a really nice feel, which you don't really get with those game improvement clubs. Sometimes they really just sacrifice that feel to make sure you do get quite a nice dispersion and also hit it a long way. JPX 921, they've ticked the boxes. Let's now move on to the TaylorMade P790 and see if it can match this and see which club's right for who. Ooh. Well, for me, there is actually quite a significant difference between these two. The JPX 921, from design, first of all, you can tell that it looks like it's towards that higher handicap player. And I do feel like it is the case across the board with the feel and performance as well. Even looking down at address, it is slightly less offset, slightly thinner at the top line. And I think that is because Mizuno are really pushing this club to be towards that higher handicap player. TaylorMade have said with the P790s, you've got anyone going from tour players to someone who's off 24. Will I say the same for the JPX 921? Well, probably not, because they've got the JPX 921 Tour, the MP68s, and I think they're a little bit more categorizing the players. If I'm going on feel, well, the Mizuno, as they say, nothing feels like a Mizuno. That is correct, it's an exceptional feel, but the flight I am getting off the TaylorMade, a big improvement from their previous iteration, is a lot more pleasing. It's a lot higher. It does feel like a tour flight, whereas that JPX 921 is a little bit more piercing. It just flies to the moon and it goes a long way. I have got data with my Garmin R10, a very new launch monitor. Got a review coming very shortly. Put it up for you now, and you can see that is the case. The Mizuno does go further with 1.5 degrees less loft and with slightly lower spin as well, which you would expect. But both very good numbers and not too much in it, to be honest. So to conclude, Both are very strong irons. I always say that about my comparisons because it's very tough to find some bad irons now in this market. But if you're looking at this, trying to find the difference between the two, well, first of all, to be very blunt, you can get the Mizunos cheaper. They've been out quite a lot longer now, and there are some great deals. So would you lean towards that if your price basis alone? Yes, but for me, the TaylorMades are a lot broader of a spectrum, and that's where I'd actually look into combo sets. Myself, I have the TaylorMade P770s and the P7MCs. If you were someone who's, let's say, off 30, you could get the TaylorMade P790s into your high irons and then go into the Sim 2s with your low irons. Whereas with the JPX 91 Hot Metal Pros, you can just get straight across the board from 40 pitching wedge because they have that progressional approach and they have a lot thicker offset. If you're into that mid-handicap range, let's say 20, 15, and you're thinking which one should I get, that does depend on your game, because I would say if you need a little bit more help, a little bit more distance forgiveness, probably go towards the JPX 91 Hot Metal Pro. But if you want an all-around iron that you know you're going to keep for 5-6 years, it's going to be the P790s, because even if you drop from 15, have an amazing year, win your club champs, get down to scratch, you can still use these, because we've seen a lot of people, especially PGA Tour players, having these in the bag. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this comparison. Would you pick the Mizuno because of feel alone, or would you go for the P790s because you know it's a very solid investment? Let me know down in the comments. If you guys have enjoyed this video today, leave a like down below. And if you guys are new to the GolfMagic YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button as well to keep up to date with all of our videos. We've got comparisons, reviews, challenges, you name it, we've got it to keep you entertained for all of 2021. Myself, TaylorMade and Mizuno, we'll see you guys at the next video.